A minor problem with the greaves. The kickstart comes off basically, or it migrates along the shaft, and the spring then of course pops out of its holes around here, and the one on the back of the kickstart, which is the way these work. So yeah, it's annoying. I think there's two issues. This kickstart's been on since I had the bike, which is a long, long time ago now, nearly 40 years. But and it's been sort of fine. But so I realise now. I think that perhaps this gap here isn't big enough. So if we clamp this down, this closes before it grips the shaft tightly. So I'm going to check that. One other issue is that I've noticed for the first time in all these years that this screw doesn't actually impinge on this diameter at all, really. So it's not going into this groove on the kickstart spindle, and hence locking the lever on. I mean, it should, even if this becomes loose, the fact the bolt's there at all should keep it in that groove and stop it from migrating off. But that's obviously not happening. So, yeah, I thought about getting a new kickstart lever, but I think what I might do, given that they're really expensive, I might actually drill this out slightly and fit maybe re-tap this slightly bigger and fit a bolt with rather than a screw, a bolt with a parallel section before the threads that is big enough to, say, poke through on the inside here. So that's what I'm thinking at the moment anyway. I've also got a new spring on order, because this one is kind of okay, but it's a bit bent at the ends. I don't know, I could probably reuse it, but I think I'll replace it anyway, and also this cap as well, which is quite bent. Anyway, what I have done is to buy a new kickstart spring and a new stainless steel cup. So that might help, especially the spring, because this one, it's slightly longer that way. It's obviously stretched out this way, and these little hooks on the end are like a third the length of the new ones. One's longer than the other, which I'm going to assume is to go in the kickstart lever, and the other in the back. Not sure whether that's right or not, but that's what I'm going to do, I think. Start with at least. But this one, yeah, these are just way too short, I think, which is why it is so difficult to fit. So this longer one goes through the cup, like so. The other one can go on the back here. And again, it sticks in there much better. So I need to use a bit of string or wire to pull this around, I think. Actually, this one here is a bit long. This coil doesn't go anywhere near the casting of the gearbox cover. Maybe I should shorten that slightly, although it feels wrong to be shortening anything. But that definitely doesn't compress down to being flush with that, which holds the cup off. So I'm going to shorten that slightly, I think. Just needs a millimetre or so off the end of that. So I'll just saw that off with a junior hacksaw. Right, so that's a good millimetre shorter than it was. And now when it's in the gearbox cover, I can push that back. And this cup will sit against the end of the casting. If I can get it back on again. Yeah, that's better. Okay, hopefully with this mirror I can see better what's going on. Okay, so I want to get that round as far as I can, reasonably about there. So I can hold that there. I'll try and get this on. It's definitely the right general position, it's just a bit low. Oh, string broke rather. It's annoying. I was almost there as well. Okay, so this is actually a bootlace with the ferrules on the end. So hopefully this is stronger. Give it a try. Trouble is, of course, it's thicker as well. See if I can release the cord. Hammer, get out. I think that might have done it. It seems as if this sounding bolt is metric rather than imperial, and that's 6 mil. Fits perfectly. There is still a gap there, so I think I'm probably okay. Okay, that's ridiculously tight, but it is hitting that. I'm going to have to move the whole lot back slightly, I think. Just a spline, possibly. Yeah, just a spline. I'm going to try and put a mark on here so I remember which spline I'm on. You probably can't see that, but I can. So I need to be one further round at least, maybe 2. Oops. Right. Let's try again. Okay, that's a firmer grip this time. A mirror so I can see the hole. Let's try again. So there's my mark. So I need to be more like there, if possible. Which means this needs to go back a bit. Right. Try again. That's a good spline further on, which is good. Okay, that needs to go further back slightly if I can. That's better. Yes, perfect. Bootlace out. Yeah, and that is clearing the adjuster here, clutch adjuster. So again, a bit more. Oops, Loctite. Knit this up really tight. That is very tight. But with a bit of luck, it should be solid. So stainless steel cup. Yep, and that's well clear of that adjuster. Great, perfect. The other thing I did while I was across at Villiers Services was buy a new one of these. Genuine Villiers Kickstart rubber. Special treat. Probably fall off in 5 minutes, but still. Cool. So I think that was the issue. The issue was the, I don't know where the spring came from, but these ends are just too short, which is making life very difficult. And this is just a bit beaten up and out of round. Nothing desperately wrong with it, but might have a new stainless steel one. Right, thanks for watching.